All right. Good morning, guys. This is Chris from Your Story Your Way with my brother here, Mr. Fletcher Collins. Some of you know him as Pastor Collins. I know him as Brother Collins. I've known this man a long time. I mean, we grew up on the same road, had some of the same issues. We drank together. You know, we never had any run-ins. I'll tell you really a quick story. This was back in the day when you had the car that changed so many colors.
The
Mustang. Woo, she was fast. One day, it was one night after an East Bladen ball game. I was a freshman, and they hadn't moved us up yet because we hadn't got to the playoffs yet to play varsity. And I was at the ball game. It was a home game, and I walked out of the gate. I don't know, it was about 9:30 or so. And I was, because my dad's truck was parked over at the shop. You know, his shop was at the other side of school.
Mm-hmm.
And his truck was over there, and he was doing something in the shop after the game. And I was walking out, and I seen this, it was a big old black dude. He hit his girl. And I was taught, you don't never put your hands on a woman. And I said, hey, bro. I said, don't do that. And he looked at me, and he was a big dude. I still don't know who he was.
Right.
And he comes, like, walking towards me, and you happen to be coming around the circle. You said, what's up, Chris? You good? And I said, yeah, man. I said, what's up? You said nothing. You said, I'll holler at you later. And that dude looked at me. He said, you no good. I said, yeah, man. I said, we live on the same road. He said, oh, we good. And I've never seen the boy again. He got in his car, him and his old lady, and they pulled off. And you pulled off. The Mustang then was green, I believe, like that. It was a real shiny emerald green or something, I remember. But you know, I want to get the day to, like I said, I remember days when I'd pull up down there at the end of DeWitt Gooden Road. You'd be sitting on the cooler. I think it was Cobra, or what was that?
One time, though, we had a bunch of St. Ives. We
St.
had it before they even hit the county. Months before that. Matter of fact, I know about 11, 12 months before you even hit the county, I had that St. Ives here. So,
Man,
you know, we used to have plenty of that. And that, God, what's another one?
Was it Magnum?
Magnum. That's it. Magnum. And all kinds of liquor.
I know, but we had some good times. And there was, you know, but you think back to those times now, and you think what the Lord's done in your life, you don't have as much joy then as you do now. Alcohol, drugs, none of that can give you the joy like God gives you.
No.
But I want to touch back. I want you to start from where you were young and what led you to the life. Just, you know, a short story, because I know, you know, you got things to do today. Right. I got things to do. I got to carry my stinky back to college this week.
Right.
But we're gonna talk about it, and I want you to start from a young age and what led you into crime, and what woke you up, and what led you out of it to where you're at now.
I want to say, man, coming out of a family of 7, and I'm the baby of the 7, and really, man, I had this attitude problem is what I had ever since from Head Start. I was getting in trouble from Head Start, fighting and things like that on up to, you know, grade level. And then I just got to this point that I wanted to be this gangster. At least I thought I did anyway. So,
as we all did.
Yeah, and one thing, you know, leads to another, and then you meet a different group of people. And that road, man, before you know it, it's like being on an ocean with a boat, and the boat lost its helm. So that means you can't control where it sail off to. And it led me into so many different and dark places in my life. And I can tell you, I remember so much during that time being out there in the world. Don't get me wrong. And I would say, man, for a long time, I thought I was having fun. I thought, that was the life to live.
Yeah.
But needless to say, later on down the road, I began to understand better now the life that I once used to live compared to the life I live now. And I remember one night I had an uncle that passed away. And every time when somebody passed away, you know, all your family from up north, down south would come up. And so, man, my cousin them, and I was expecting them, they came down. So, you know, that's when Bosique them come down. We were going to go drink. That's all I was thinking about. So we went, got a case of beer, and we were going to party that night. Man, for some reason, man, I drank one beer, felt like I drank the whole case. Not in an intoxicated way, just felt that way. So I'm like, you know what, man, I don't want to go out tonight. I'm going to stay home. All of them look like, wait a minute, you going to stay home around you? Like, no, you are the party,
now,
man.
this is still when you're gut.
This
You're
still
not
when I'm
Fletcher,
gut.
you're
No,
gut.
yeah, I'm gut. And so, and yo, this is my word, man. They in that house, all they talking about the Lord, praying and all. I never sat around them like that. Never. I'm the first one to vacate the premises. But I couldn't go nowhere, man. And I sat there and I listened to them all night long. I didn't have nothing really to say, but I sat there. But I didn't want to go party. That right there was the changer in my life without me even realizing what was going on. God was starting to operate and circumcise my heart then without me knowing it. And I got to say this scripture, and I think a lot of people don't understand, and like, we're not preaching, but I got to say this. St. John 1:12 says, as many as believed him, to them gave he power to become the sons of God, and as many as believe on his name. So a person failed to realize God have to empower you just to accept him.
That's right.
And that's what he was doing to me at that time, but I didn't realize it.
Didn't know
Now,
it.
I was brought up about that the Lord Jesus is real, and you know, that's what I was taught coming up. Well, he was working on me then, but I didn't understand it. But that's why later on I look back like now. So anyway, from that point right there, man, I kept on out there in the world. I remember I got shot, and ended up getting an artificial hip. So I got up.
Now, I want to say something about that.
Yeah.
I remember when you got shot.
Mm-hmm.
And it was kind of I know it was a scary time for you and your family and your homeboys, because it wasn't only a scary time for y'all, but it was a scary time for everybody around here, because nobody knew what was going to happen. Everybody was talking about retaliation. What are they going to do? And, you know, some things did happen. But in the end, everybody paid for their sins, and everything was rectified. And I just wanted to touch on that, because you know, it wasn't that it affected you when you got shot. That was a turning point for everybody, because I'm gonna be honest with you, back for the younger kids, you know, man, I remember we were sitting in Miles' hair class. Me, you, Tyrone Mathis. Oh man, I think it was Mike Merritt. Because y'all boys were older than me. I was a freshman. I think y'all were seniors, and juniors are seniors. And you come in there, man, you had the silk suits on. You had to go. You had, but you didn't have, you know, we didn't have cell phones, but you had a pager.
Right.
And, you know, everybody looked at Gut like, man, that's Miami Vice right there, dog. But I remember your pager went off, and you jumped out the window, dog, and run. And the car took off. That Mustang was gone, and like 10 minutes later, here come the law. And I was like, man, I swear I seen that Friday night on Miami Vice. I was like, but anyway, I just wanted to touch base on that, you know, because what we thought was fun and what we thought was cool, when Gut got shot, because you were the man to a lot of kids around here, because just like you fell into it, there was a lot of action into it, and the kids around here, even myself, was like, man, that's cool as crap. Like, man, I wonder what happened if I jumped out the window. I'd probably break a leg. But anyway, go ahead and get back to your story.
And so, man, with that being said, and all of that right there, man, living that type of life. And so when I got shot, it didn't change my life or lifestyle, at least I thought, but it started making me think. And God is unique in how he do things, man.
Yes, sir.
He's unique in how he do things. So, and with that being said, man, so time after that, and after I got shot, and I'm cutting off a lot of stuff, but I remember one day when I got out, I was in a body cast from here down. And so I remember when I finally got out the cast, I said, you know what? I want to go up here to Newtown because I want to see what I'm missing. So I went up there and got me a spot, and I sat back. When I sat back, I look at the guys on the block back there selling crack. When the police would come through the back, I see them throw down their drugs, move over another place, see them sitting there drinking and get to fighting people out there on the street. Then next thing you know, they sharing drinks again and they right back at the same spot. And I say, this is what I'm missing? Nah, I don't want this no more. And so, but still not understanding, God was working, doing surgery on my heart. And so I went home and I had a whole bunch of cocaine, crack left. Cause remember I had like a key and a half. Man, I went home, I took the drugs I had, I didn't give them away. I flushed them down the commode. I said, I'm done. It didn't take me going to jail. I wasn't afraid of the police because I felt like they had a job to do and I did too. Their job was to catch me. My job was to stay away from
That's
it.
right.
And I think I did a pretty good job
you
of
did.
that. And so anyway, but I was done because what hit me in my mind was this. It's no way, man, that I could see my mom, my daughter, my sister, nieces in the woods for this small little piece of substance and defiling their bodies. Ain't no way I could see that. Though I sold so much of this stuff to other people. But when it clicked on me, it didn't take the jail bars. When I realized that, I'm like, I'm done. I don't want it no more. I'm looking at how these people live, and I don't want this no more. It's got to be a better way than this. That's when I said no to drugs. I had no more dinners with them, had no more selling of them. I never had that way when I was doing tough and bad, which I have done. But I never looked back to say, I've had opportunities, I've had offers, to give me whatever it is I needed. Nah, I'm done with that.
But that was the devil. That was him
Yes.
reaching out.
Oh, yes.
He was saying, he was like, Fletcher, you're not Fletcher. You're not the pastor, brother. You're not on that road. You know, the other day, I don't know if you've watched one of my videos, but I think it was one from Saturday. I kept trying to say, you know, when Jesus was healing that diverse disease, you know, that includes the spiritual, the demons and everything. And when the demons come out, they try to recognize him. And he told them to shut up. I don't want to hear your testimony. And that's what he was trying to do then. Really, if you think about it, he was like, you know, don't listen to what God's telling you. He's working on you, but I'm going to give it to you now.
I got another part. I'm going to come back to that, to the conclusion of that, just like him with his temptation. And so, you know, him steady working on me, so I began to back away from the streets. I stopped going out, and I used to love to hang out because, one, I used to love to dance. I ain't never lost a dance contest. And if I went to a club, you that didn't know me on that side, you gonna know me for the night in because I'm taking over that floor.
Hold on, what about now? Can you do it?
No,
now?
I can't do it.
Okay, I'm about to say, you're going to give us a little show.
No, sir, no. Listen, in my mind,
You could.
you know, that's where it's at now. It's in my mind.
Yeah, I got a cane.
No, sir. No, sir. No, sir. So sometimes you think that you can do this until you get out there and put the
That's
effort. You
right.
find out, nah, let me go back in the corner and have a seat. So sometimes, man, when I see the young people, you know, get out there, even some of the older people, that makes me feel bad because how they can do what they do. Like, man, how can you do that now? I don't know if they preserved themselves or what they did, but when I go to do that or try to make a couple moves, next thing you know, here come the cramps.
Well, that's because the Lord said, I ain't put you here to dance, you here to speak.
Exactly. So I miss it sometimes. Don't get me wrong, but
I know.
And in my mind, I feel like I got that energeticness that I can jump and do it. But reality set in real fast. Nah, bro,
Well,
let that go.
That energy's for God.
Yeah.
Man.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes,
but
sir.
Carry on.
So anyway, man, after that right there, and I began to realize that I didn't belong to the street and the street didn't belong to me. So I started looking at things in life different. And the breaking point was my son was my graduation gift. And I promised, and I wasn't that good guy. Let me say this. You know, one thing about me, I keep it real. Period. Okay. During the pregnancy, I was not that guy for my wife today because I was just like the average guy there. It ain't mine. Right? Didn't want to take responsibility, didn't want accountability, no, none of that. But I can tell you, when my son's eyes came open, I was at that hospital. And I ain't never been out of his life since that day. And so when he was born and when I helped him, what I said is I do not want my son growing up living any part of that life that I chose to live, not that I had to live. I didn't want him having no parts in it, no nothing. And so he was that piece for me to say, hey, I'm done. Ain't nobody in the world can pull me back. I'm done. And so that right there was my motivation to change, was my son. And so I remember one night, and this is the good part, I'm gonna give my testimony. And I remember one night, so I go out there to, at the time, my girlfriend out to her house, and her mother made a statement concerning me, knowing the life that I was living, concerning me and then my son. Mm-hmm. And brother, listen here, I could have murdered the world. That's how I felt, right? Because it really turned me the wrong way. So I go home. And I go in there to my mom and see like my mom always at that kitchen sink. So I go to her, I say, Mama, you know, when she looked at me, she said, seek the Lord. I never got out what I wanted to say. I got mad at her. I ain't say it. I knew not to say it. But so I go out the house. Dean, when she told Dean, oh my God. So I didn't want that. Yeah. So I go out the house. It's 12 o'clock at night. I go in the edge of the woods, and I never really played in the dark too much. So I marched around, and I would say some choice words back and forth about stuff, angry, bitter. And it's like after I got that anger and that bitter out of me, saying what I had to say, and this somewhat calmness began to come over me. And Satan appeared to me just as though you sitting there. I didn't see him, but his presence I felt.
You felt it, yeah.
I felt the presence of God on me as well. Mm-hmm. So it's like they both sat there like, okay, the night is the night. Now, I don't know this, but it's like they saying the night is the night. So when Satan appeared to me, he said, listen, now, Fletcher, you know that you love money. Mm-hmm. And you like nice, flashy things. In fact, I'm not telling you not to get saved, but I'm saying don't do it now. Mm-hmm. If you don't get saved, I got this lick. If you do this last lick, I promise you'll be set for life. You know that girl you always wanted? I got her for you too. But it's like I had enough in me at that time to say, nah, man, because everything you ever promised, you never kept your word on it. I don't want that. I'm tired of that. I don't want it, right? And I said to myself, if I go to do what you talking about, yeah, that might be my end. You know what I'm saying? But I had enough in me to say I don't want that. But at the same time, I'm saying, well, Lord, I know one day I need to change. I ain't ready for that either. Yep. So I'm like, I'm caught in between. And it was like the Lord stepped in and say, Satan, you hold your peace. Let's back up. Mm-hmm. Fletcher, you're going to make a choice. Yep. It's up to you. You're going to make a choice. You can make this choice tonight. He didn't say it, but that's how I felt.
Well, you know, because God can't mess with your free will.
Mm-hmm.
He wants you to accept His will, but that's why He was telling the devil, back up. Right. We can't make him do this. Right. So here we go. So when I finally got my mind cleared, this is the words I say. And I say this with all honesty. Because even when I witness today, I run across this situation with people and they have the right. And I'm going to put it in these words. The first thing I say to God, I say, Lord, if you be real, as my mother and my grandmother and father them say that you real, show me a sign that I might believe. The reason why I said that, and I'll never forget it, and today when I'm challenged by that, which I love the challenge, right now, there's a basic 8 colors. And I don't care what country or what language you go to, red is red. Mm-hmm. That's right. Some things you can't argue, some things you simply cannot challenge. But we can come to terms. Now, a birth certificate tells you who you are when you was born. It tells you who your parents are. But outside of that piece of paper, what proof do you have that that's your parents? So it leads me to this. The foundation of all of our understanding is simply what we've been taught. That's right.
So now I have a challenge to God. Lord, I know what I was taught. But if you be real, now I need you to separate that.
That's right.
And I need you to be Lord for me. Mm-hmm. Never mind what they say. because I can go on the illusion of everything they say, but I need to know you for me.
Prove them wrong.
Right. So here's what happened. There was a dogwood tree in front of me. That tree bowed all the way to the ground to the front. It bowed to the ground to the back. It bowed to the left. It bowed to the right, and it stood back in its place, and with no leaf on that tree blown. And when he did that right there, chills came on my body, just like right now. Chills came on my body. I knew then that Jesus was Lord. And nobody had to, all of what they said. But this experience right here. So now, when I go in the house, finally I go in there and tell my mom I gave my life to the Lord. I go to the shop and did it working late that night, tell him I gave my life to the Lord. But all the hell I put him through, it didn't register on him right at the second. Yeah. But by the time I got back down the house, it dawned on him. He threw his tools down, coming to the house, rejoicing, like, oh my God, him? Mm-hmm. So anyway, so that night I went to sleep, man. That is the best sleep I have ever had in my life. I ain't never had it again, but that's the best sleep I ever had in my life, right? So when I got up the next morning, I didn't feel the way I felt when I laid down. Mm-hmm. And this is what I said, Lord, I don't want to doubt you, and I know I'm not going to deny you. But how I felt last night, I don't have that feeling this morning. Lord, can you show me one more sign that I might believe and know that I got it? And so I get myself together. My daughter, then, is 2 days old. So I get in the car. I'm going to go up there to her mom and visit my daughter, right? So when I go through, down Martin Luther King with Ben Street then, when I go down through there past Mount Zion Church, when I got by the Clemens, I would get bound. Mm-hmm. When I get past, I get free. I noticed her like, whoa, but I kept going. Hey, what the world is that? So I go out there, spend some time with her. I leave from there. When I come back, got in the same spot, I bind up. When I got past by the church, I get free. So I said, something ain't right. So I go to the church parking lot. I make a U-turn. Because I'm trying to figure out now what's going on. Mm-hmm. When I get to the Clemens, I will bind. When I pass the Clemens, I get free. Mm-hmm. Something happened in here. Yep. So I go home. Hey, mama, what's this? Seek the Lord. God, no, this woman won't tell me nothing, right? So.
Well, you may not believe it if she tells you.
Right. So I goes, but see, I forgot what I told the Lord. I need you to prove me, right? So I go to sleep that night, nothing happened. Next night, nothing happened. Third night, nothing happened. Round about the fourth or fifth night, I go in the dream. And in this dream, the Lord took me into a vision. And just like me and you sitting right here on your porch, the Lord took me back. I was intoxicated that night. And I was acting a puny fool. Using all kind of choice word. You talking about disrespect. Everything disrespectful in the book. I mean, I'm turning over stuff. I'm acting a fool.
Now, is this in your mom's house?
No, this is what happened in town.
Oh, okay.
So the Lord took me back. Remember I told you the place I was going through, I was bound?
Yeah.
He's showing me what it was.
Oh, okay.
So when when he took me in that dream and the vision, when he's showing me what happened, how I raised in sand and all that. So I looked across the street, and the lady was sitting on her porch. She stood up, started crying, and shook her head, and walked in the house. That's who I disrespected. I didn't know that at the time, but he showed it to me. He took me back in time and showed me this. So when he showed me that, I said, I know what I got to do. I got up the next morning, got myself together. I went to her house. Come on in, baby. I've been waiting on you a long time. Mm-hmm. She said, the reason you here because the Lord, she said, you know what? Let me hush. You tell me why you here. And she stopped. I said, you know, I gave my life to the Lord. And I want to live this life for real. And I said, and the Lord took me into a dream. And in the dream, he showed me a vision. I was over there one night, acting a fool, tears started running. And he showed me how disrespectful I was, how you got up, you shook your head. Boy, that woman went there, like, trembling because God had to reveal it to me. I wasn't in the state of mind to know this. Yeah. So long story short, she was in a backslidden condition. And me going to that house to ask her for forgiveness and to tell her what the Lord showed me, she forgave me of my wrongdoing, and she reinstated her life back to Christ. See, this is why and what motivates me today to understand the life that I live now versus the life I lived back then that I thought was important. What's important is souls, because souls is what's important to God.
Amen.
And so that's why we have to let our light shine. And what I thank God for, and there's so much I could tell y'all.
Oh, yeah.
But what I love about God, even though the things that we done ugly back then, and I'm gonna close with this one right here, Psalms 23:3. And the third verse is my favorite. David said, He restoreth my soul. Only thing that can be restored, it got to be broken.
Amen.
It's got to be in a bad position. It got to be messed up. And he said, He restoreth my soul, but He leadeth me in the paths of righteousness for His name's sake. Not that we always do right, but God know how to lead us to get us right.
That's right.
No different than pulling up at Bojangles.
Yep.
You hungry, and you look on that menu, man, you see that piece of chicken,
Yep.
and them fixes, man, that chicken look like, God know I can taste it right now.
Yes, sir.
But then when you get to the one, the first thing they do, you got to give them your money.
Money, that's right.
Then after you give your money, you still fixed up, because, man, I'm ready to take it in this box right now. Then they tell you, can you pull up there and wait?
Yep.
So, other word, what I'm saying is, there's processes we got to go through
Yes, sir.
in this walk. And God knows just what to do and to process and to get us the way we need to be. Our hearts ain't it all the way where it need to be, but God is the only one can circumcise our heart.
That's right.
And so that's what He done for me. That's what He yet doing for me day by day, man. And I thank God. So now, this is why and how I know that this life is a whole lot better, because when I live this life, and if I continue to live the life according to Scripture, then I got eternity that I know where I spend.
That's right.
But out there, though, I was having fun. So what does it profit a man to gain the world, and then in the end, and lose his soul? So I thank God that what I do now, I can get paid for.
That's right.
Though I was gonna get paid then, but not the pay I wanted.
Eternal pay, son.
Exactly.
You're gonna get that check forever.
Yes.
Forever.
Yes.
And I try to give a little testimony every time I do something like this, and I'm gonna give you one. Back, I can't remember the exact date, because when I got sick, and it just took a lot of my memory from me. But I don't remember dates, but I remember what happened.
Right.
And we were skiing with the church, with the youth group, and it was I don't know, 2016, maybe somewhere along in there, 14, somewhere in that time. And I knew how to ski. My oldest son, he's kind of like my youngest son. They can pick up something and just go with it.
Right.
Snowboards, whatever.
Right.
They just get on it and go. They're just natural athletes or whatever they touch. Zachary is a football player.
Mm-hmm.
He's kind of like me. Now, I can ski, but a snowboard I could kill myself on before I got 10 feet, and I said no more. Well, we put Zachary in, and Cole, because it was Cole's first time ever, but he was a little old fella. And we put them in ski lessons while me and their mom skied some. Well, we were down at the bottom of the hill, and they had left a little bunny slope area where they were training them, took them up about midway.
Mm-hmm.
And, we couldn't recognize, because there's so many people on there, we didn't know exactly who this kid was, but we seen a kid come down, Fletcher, run off the side of the mountain, hit a 6x6 pole, spin around it, and go to screaming. And I was like, me and my wife were like, did you see that? And we're trying to get people to this child. And when I tell this story, I get emotional.
Right.
And when I tell you what God done,
Mm-hmm.
whew, but we seen, because we started trying to, like I said, we were trying to get people to get ski patrol to get to this child.
Mm-hmm.
And there was people skiing by it, looking over there at him off the side of the mountain and not stopping.
Right.
And him screaming. And we see a little child about this hard. We knew Cole had on an orange helmet.
Mm-hmm.
And we seen this little kid come down a mountain by himself on skis, go off the side, kick his skis up, and it was his little brother. He run to him. And that's when we knew who it was.
Right.
Now, it's cold. It's cold. Her wife takes her boots off. She's barefooted and runs up that mountain. And I'm behind her, and I got bad knees and all that stuff. Anyway, I knew if I took mine off, something bad had to go.
Right.
So I still kept my boots on. I loosened them so I could go faster. But by the time we got to him, somebody else had finally stopped, got ski patrol up there. Fletcher, his leg was so big that it was busting the seams of his overalls. They cut it open. This right here was the color of this brace. black as the ace
Wow.
of spades. First thing they thought was the aortic arteries busted. Oh, boy. You might scared. They got him in the ambulance and got him to the hospital. And we rode, let's see, one of the children's pastors, Wesley Sasser. He went with, I think he went with my wife and Craig McDuffie. There was a bunch of us with the youth. And we all went together to the hospital because they wouldn't let us ride with him. So we followed him to the hospital and got there, and of course the doctors rushed him in, and they'd done a CAT scan. And the CAT scan showed that the actual, where the ball goes in the socket, that was broke. I mean, it was actually broke in half. It was such a severe injury, they couldn't do the surgery there. He was going to have to be life flighted to Tennessee.
Right.
And we're in Boone anyway, and Tennessee's not that far across the line,
right.
but they needed to get him there now because of the weather. It had snowed and all that stuff. They said the only way to get him there in time, because they didn't know what all was going on with the artery and all that stuff, but they didn't want to do anything until they got him to Tennessee.
Right.
So they Skyped the surgeon there, and while my wife stayed there with Wesley, and while they were talking to the surgeon, Craig took me back to the house to get clothes, and so we could all go to Tennessee. When God, he says be childlike. Because the child's heart is pure. Lord, let me get through this. I cry every day I do these things. But I walked in that house, there were 16 children sitting in a circle, praying. And the doctor on the Skype said, I need you to do we need another image, so when y'all get him here, we know exactly what's going on. So when we cut him, we know exactly where to repair him. We need to get ready for everything that could be going on. They knew the break was there, but they just didn't know what else. There wasn't time for MRI. They just knew the break was there. So long story short, we get back to the hospital. Before I can even get in the doors, my wife meets me. She said, it's healed. I said, what? She said, I done another CAT scan because the surgeon ordered it. The doctor walked in and said, I don't know what happened. The break's gone.
Got your body, no.
And Wesley Sasser looked, he said, you feel that? I said, God. And the doctor was sitting there doing this in disbelief.
Right. But he know what he saw.
There is a picture right here in front of us showing that socket broke in half.
Right.
But by the time we left them children praying and got back to that hospital,
Go. So now they think it was just a vein laying there. Looked like that.
yep, it was broke.
Right.
And we carried him home that night with a bruised leg. And the boys met us outside the cabin because they did send him home on a crutch just because it was sore. Those boys come outside and toted his big behind in the house.
Right.
And he was on painkillers now.
Right,
He was talking about squirrels was running around in the
Right. Right.
So we didn't let him stay on this very long.
Yeah.
But that is a testimony for him, for me, for my wife. That was a testimony for over 30 people that witnessed that.
Right.
But I'm going to close saying this. That still didn't change me. Even after I witnessed it,
Right.
I knew God was real, or I wouldn't be there with him. I loved God. I loved him. But I still cussed like a sailor. I still drink. Now I'm not saying now you're a pastor, and I can't judge you, but any man that wants to have a drink, I have no qualms for. My wife still has a drink with dinner sometimes. That's if we go out or if we're on a cruise or something. But she's not a drunkard.
Right.
She may have two, and that's it.
Right.
Now her eyes might be a little floating after them too, because she don't drink.
Right.
But she knows that that's enough. She doesn't want to ever be that way. And you know, the Lord's not going to punish you for those things. But if you witness a miracle like that and you carry on, your life's going to get harder and harder and harder until you accept His will. And that is a fact, because we both lived it.
Right.
And
That's
brother, I'm gonna tell you something. I know we both got to go. I appreciate you.
Yes,
coming
sir.
on
Yes,
here.
sir.
You'll
Yes,
always
sir.
be my
Yes,
brother.
sir. Yes, sir.
And you know, I pray that people will take this podcast in and this
Right.
message and use it.
And I believe they will.
Well, you know, I told you before we even started that God told me if I'd done this, that one person a day, it would touch one person, and every single day it has.
Right.
And I know by bringing different, and I want to bring, you know, this is a little bit different than, you know, the famous podcast or whatever.
Right.
I want real people coming on here. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I want real people to tell the story.
That's right.
So,
That's right.
and that's the only way people are going to listen.
That's right.
So, but anyway, I appreciate it, brother. And we're going to get out of here and carry on our day.
Yes, sir. Just texting the wife right now.
Oh, no, you good. You better text her. Oh, Lord, we're going to cut it off, brother.
All right.